how's it going? I am really excited that you are here today because we are chatting about how to create a standout brand in a saturated market. This is a question that I get all the time from my clients. They're like, Jen, my market, or being an online coach or being a health coach, it's super saturated. How do you stand out among all of the other health coaches or among all of the other network marketers who are selling the exact same product as me? And I'm like, listen, I 100% get it. There's always going to be people who are our quote unquote competitors who are selling something similar or who are in a similar business model. So today I want to go over 3 quick things that will really allow you to go higher level in your mindset and really shift the way that you're looking at your brand and business to create more longevity. If we are just meeting for the first time, my name is Jen Casey. I'm a business strategy and NLP coach, and I work with online coaches who want to turn their social media into sales and scale. So how to create a brand in a saturated market? That is the question. That is the big question. So the first thing that I think for me has been the biggest, I don't want to say game changer, but the thing that has allowed me to get to the level that I am at in my business and brand today is knowing and loving my clients. Knowing and loving my clients. So as opposed to being obsessed with my product or obsessed with the program that I'm creating, I am all about the people that I am serving. I am tuned into them. I am always trying to figure out how I can better serve them, really understand on a deep level what they're struggling with, not just the surface things that they say, but truly what is really making them tick. What are they really needing support and guidance and help with? And ultimately, when you start to do this, when you start to identify who your clients are, what their biggest pain points are, like, your entire business will change. If you haven't done this already, or you haven't done it in a while to revisit and reconnect with those people in your tribe, you have to be doing this. Like creating your ideal client avatar. I know a lot of you guys have done that in different business programs, or you found Pinterest pins about it, or whatever the case may be. But it's a much deeper level process, and it's literally the guiding force behind your business. For me, knowing and loving my clients and really taking the time to understand their psychology and what they're working through, that's my North Star. Like, I don't create anything unless it feels good to me and I know it's going to serve somebody else. Because there's too many people creating programs that they think would be fun to create, that they're excited about, but nobody else wants them. Like, they didn't take the time to actually do a little survey or do a little research to find out, is this something that other people want to learn? And we have to really pay attention to this because our clients and our customers, they define your brand, right? Your customers define your brand. If you do not have customers in your business, not only do you not really have a business because you're not generating any kind of revenue, but you have no culture, you have no community. They help to develop the culture when you start getting people in the door. It can't be something that only one person is doing. You're the leader of it, you're moving it forward, but at the end of the day, it's something that a community of people do together. So your customers are the heart and the soul of your business. So are you really taking the time to get to know them? Or are you that person, like so many of my clients who I absolutely love and adore you guys. I literally love you to death, but there are so many entrepreneurs who are not putting out that program, not launching that course, not offering that one-on-one coaching because they're waiting for their brand to be perfect. They're like, well, Jen, I really want to put out this program, but I don't have the right name. Or I really want to share this podcast episode, but it doesn't have the right title. Or I really want to launch this website, and there's always a but, right? But it doesn't have the right colors. Or I want to start this Instagram, but I don't know what my brand colors are yet. We can come up with a million different reasons why we're not ready to start, but at the end of the day, your customers don't really care about that stuff. Like, it's important as you start to scale and grow, but in the beginning, they just want to know, can you help me? Can you solve my problem? So if you have no customers because you are waiting for the perfect time, there is no perfect time, and you are basically putting your business and your brand on gridlock. Like, you can't go anywhere. You can't move, right? And I've had discovery calls with women who have told me that they've been building businesses for years, and yet they don't have any kind of results to show how long. They should have had some kind of other results by this point. But one girl I remember told me, well, I've been spending the last 4 months tweaking the header on my website. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, have you started helping anybody? She's like, nope. She didn't know her niche, didn't know her marketing, didn't know anything, but had spent 4 months in Canva tweaking the header on her website, a website that wasn't even serving her because she didn't have anything that she was selling. She didn't have any way to collect anyone's information. And she was just like, just tweaking the fonts, changing around the fonts. And I'm like, that's not your area of expertise. And that's not where you are best served in your business, right? So you have to be able to step out from that, right? And step forward to create those relationships with your customers, with your clients, because that's what the business is all about. The business doesn't move, it doesn't run unless you know and love your clients and you take care of them and you connect with them and you nurture relationships with them, right? So that is number one to creating a brand that stays relevant in a saturated market. And I'm sure you follow people who experience that, right? You're following people who are showing up for you, taking care of you, and constantly getting that feedback from you about what you want to hear. Like, you listen to their podcast episodes, you watch their live videos, and you go, oh my God, he or she is in my head today. You're just like, oh my gosh, she is literally saying exactly what I need to hear today. Those are your people. Those are the ones, those are the coaches, those are the influencers who are really taking the time to sit and listen to you as the audience. So number two, the number two thing that is going to allow you to stand out in a saturated, quote unquote, saturated market is really allowing for intuition and innovation. Intuition and innovation. Let's just sit with that for a second, right? So I want to talk about the intuition piece first. And I think, like I was saying before, a lot of people are waiting for their brand to look perfect or have the perfect hook statement, and they're just dragging their feet because there's a lot of fear, and that fear is clothed in, I want it to be perfect, but really there's something underneath that. And I think it's important for all of us to recognize that your brand is going to evolve as you evolve. So the brand that you create today or the program that you create today is not necessarily going to be the same program, at least not in the same version that you're going to have in 10 years or even 5 years or even 2 years. It's going to change and evolve because you're going to continue educating yourself and learning more. You are going to continue your own expansion and creation, and new ideas are going to come up. New conversations are going to be had with your clients and customers, and you're going to start to realize that, hey, there's a better way to teach this, or hey, there's a faster way to get them to this desired end result. And I think for me, knowing and trusting my intuition, knowing that I have a connection to my intuition, a very strong connection, and being able to trust that and build that trust muscle over time, I think that has been one of the greatest assets that I've been able to bring to the table for myself in business, and it's something that I'm always trying to reinforce with my students and clients. Your intuition is everything. I mean, back when I was a server and bartender, it was April 1st, 2014. I still have the freaking piece of paper. I wrote out my goals and I said, I want to create a 6-figure course business. And at the time, I was broke. I had failed at building a network marketing business. And I say failed because I wasn't all in. It was a side hustle and I wasn't trying to really do a whole lot with it. And so I kind of left it for a year and then I was like, do I want to come back to it, right? So technically, it was a failed business because I walked away from it. And I was literally so depressed, so anxious, so miserable, didn't want to get out of bed. And I just rolled up to my family and friends and I was like, hey everybody, I'm restarting a business. I might do network marketing for a bit, but I'm going to build a course business. And everybody thought I was absolutely out of my freaking mind. They thought I was crazy. They were like, okay, Jen's I don't know what you're smoking, I don't know what you're drinking, but like, it looks like you're having fun in fantasy land over there. But for me, I just felt it in my gut that I was meant for more, that I had the ability to create something of my own. Like, I was never one to really follow the rules in the sense of, like, I don't like waking up early. So my 11th and 12th grade in high school. I was like, I'm just gonna like not have first period class like mid-year. I was like, yeah, just like get rid of that class for me first period. And the guidance counselor was like, wait, what? You can't just like drop Spanish. I was like, yeah, no, I can. I just don't want to wake up and I don't really like the class. I'm not really learning anything. So we're just gonna, and they were like, but you're doing really well in it. I was like, yeah, but I just like don't feel like it. Like I just knew that like I didn't want to do that and it just didn't fulfill me. It didn't make me happy. So I was like, yeah, we're just not going to do that anymore. Like I just know when something doesn't feel right to me, I trust it. Even if it's an uncomfortable conversation, like I just have to take that action on it. And so when I was bartending, I remember it was Easter, so this is now so April 1st I wrote, I'm gonna build a 6-figure business, crazy pants, right? And then April 20th, 2014 was Easter, and I really just got pushed past my breaking point with the manager that was there, and I said, I'm gonna quit. And I did. I quit. And that was it. I never looked back. And I think knowing that previously I hadn't trusted my intuition really allowed me to step forward into that and say, you know, I'm just going to jump. I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump. And from there, I went all in and I built a network marketing business. I was really successful. And then I got to the point where all of a sudden it didn't feel in alignment anymore. 1 minute I'm over there drinking all the Kool-Aid going, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And then, you know, a year and a half in, I'm like, you know what? I think I've gone really far away from my vision of building my own courses. Like that was why I originally started this. And I just kind of got caught up in the ease of network marketing. I was like, you know what? No, like I have to jump again. And so I left being a health and fitness coach to be a business coach, completely started from scratch. People, again, thought I was crazy. Like, why would you walk away from this? You have all these clients, all these coaches, and all these people that you're connected to. You're just going to walk away from this whole community. And I was like, yeah, it's really scary, but I just know that it doesn't feel good to me anymore and I have to jump. Like my intuition led me to that decision. And it wasn't an easy decision to make. And I didn't make it immediately, but I made that decision. And then after that, I had a really successful business as a business coach. And a little bit into that, I decided to partner with someone. I had a business partner for a while. And then, you know, about a year in, all of a sudden that didn't feel right. And we decided to part ways. And again, very difficult decision, you know, kind of starting over in a lot of different ways. But I think when I look back at all of those experiences, and some of them really big, some of them at the time felt monumental. They felt like, even like leaving network marketing was like, oh my God, this is the biggest decision I've ever made. Am I crazy? Am I making the worst decision ever? But I felt that nudge for expansion. I felt that nudge for expansion. And I knew my brand was going to change. I knew the format of my business was going to change, especially coming from network marketing into my own business, quite drastically. But I just felt that nudge that there was something more. We've all experienced that, and we have a decision in those moments as to whether or not we want to jump or if we want to pull back. But if you trust your intuition, you will not be misguided because you know what is best for you. And that's kind of like what am I saying? This surprise that I was like, I've got something to share with you guys and I'm really excited about it. I am actually going to be changing the name of my podcast. So I'm not telling you exactly what it is yet, but we're going from social media to sales to something that you will hear soon. And if you're listening to this on the podcast right now, then you probably already know what the name change is, but why am I doing this? I already have a successful podcast. It's got tons of people who listen to it, tons of downloads. Well, I just felt like my brand was going in a different direction. And every time I put a new podcast episode up, it was like, like that doesn't really align with social media. Like that's not really what it's about. I've always loved psychology. I have a degree in psychology. I have certifications in neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, EFT tapping, like you name it. And I know that's the expansion of what I really feel excited to talk about in relation to business. So I'm like, it's scary to change it. Are people going to get it? Are people going to like the new name? Are people going to know that it's my podcast? But I'm like, at the end of the day, I have to do what feels good to me. I have to do what feels aligned for me. And if something is not feeling aligned and I'm not feeling excited to create through this certain lens, then I got to do something. I got to change it so that it feels good. So you guys will be hearing soon what the new name is. It might be going out tomorrow, maybe later this week, but I'm really excited about it. I feel way more aligned with this name. It took literally forever to find a new name, this has been like months on end. I'm not even kidding. Of what is the new name going to be? I have to find something that aligns for me because I've changed the name before and I'm like, I don't want to be, Sybil over here, changing my podcast name every other day, which is not the case, obviously. But, I think a lot of times people are afraid to change things because they're like, what if people don't like it and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, you've just got to do what feels good to you. Period. Bottom line, end of story, right? So then the last piece here. So we talked a little bit about knowing and loving your clients, really trusting your intuition. And this last piece is really talking about, number 3 is behavioral flexibility. And this really comes down to innovating. So behavioral flexibility is basically this idea that when you are doing something, a new stimuli, something new is introduced, that you're able to adapt really quickly to the changes that are in front of you. Now, for those of you who are in business, you probably see this all the time, or in network marketing as well. There are old strategies that are outdated that are still being taught, and people are not, quote unquote, keeping up with the changing times. But the reality is, with social media, with technology, with innovation, things are changing exponentially faster, and it's only going to continue to change exponentially faster. So we have to be aware of this so that we can innovate with the times and ahead of the times. Like, we need to be the people that are creating new formats, creating new ways to deliver content, because the other stuff just kind of gets old and tired, right? And Gary Vee talks about this a lot. Like, you need to be where the attention is. He says the market is the market is the market. The market is the market is the market. He's like, so, and I feel like for a lot of you guys, you used to build your businesses entirely on Facebook, as did I. And I'm doing a live stream with this on Facebook right now. However, my Facebook has changed over the last 2 years. When Facebook Live first came out, it was like a different world. Like, I was dominating the Facebook Live game. But everybody does Facebook Live now, so it's not as special. It's not as unique, right? Because a lot of people slowly got on the bandwagon. People were afraid to do live video. Then they kind of got used to it. They got their feet wet. And now there's more people sharing great content on live video. But prior to that, Facebook was not a platform where you came for personal development or business development content. You went to YouTube for that, or you went to a podcast, but you didn't come to Facebook for that. And so Facebook Live coming out really changed the game. But guess what? Then Instagram Live came out, and Instagram Stories came out, and they stole that from Snapchat, and now all of a sudden these things are changing. So now there's way more attention, what I'm finding for myself and for a lot of my clients, way more attention and connection happening over on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, come hang out at HeyJenCasey. We got a great little tribe over there, and it's really exciting to be able to see new faces, new people, new style of connecting. So I think it's important to know when to pivot, when to say, okay, this strategy is not working anymore, or it's not working as well as it used to. What is the trend happening here? Is this going to continue to decline? And where do I need to start showing up so that I can still have a business? When live video first came out on Periscope, there were a couple of other platforms that also jumped on the live video bandwagon. There was Meerkat and what was the other one? Meerkat and some other, I can't remember what the name is. But I remember one of my I can't remember what the name of it is, which tells you a lot about the platform that people forgot it already. So there was a friend of mine who had built this really big platform on this other live video social media platform. And after Periscope came out, and then after a live video came out, it was called Blab. Blab went under. Blab was no more. And they gave her a couple of days notice before they decided to shut down their entire operation. And she had all of these followers there, all of these people that watched her weekly or multiple times a week show. She had an interview show, and all of a sudden it was gone. She was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that I've been preparing for this, and I've been, list building from that platform, so I can reach out to those people, send them an email and say, hey, you've been following me on Blab. Blab doesn't exist anymore. Come chill with me on Facebook Live or elsewhere. So I think we need to anticipate those types of changes as entrepreneurs, as coaches, as business owners in the online space, building businesses that rely heavily on social media. We need to be able to adapt quickly to changes instead of, denying that they're happening and just going, well, I want to keep doing this other old school strategy. Like my network marketing peeps, this is for you right here. The hey girl messages, the direct messages, the cold messages. A lot of people are still teaching that as the only strategy that they're handing down to their downline. And the issue with that is obviously the whole idea of network marketing is you sign up and then you bring on 10 people who brings on 10 people who brings on 10 people. So the whole network marketing world is more saturated. So now you've got all of these people sending direct messages. Like if I follow a couple of new people on Instagram, I will get 10 to 20 to 30 to 40, depending on how many people I follow, canned direct messages in response to my following them, asking me if I want to like join a fitness challenge, telling me that they run accountability groups. And there's just, it's just not working because it's a strategy that too many people are using. Everyone, or not, I don't want to say everyone's aware of it, but a lot of people are aware of that strategy now. And they're like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, I got that exact copy and pasted message last week from someone else. And I think as a consumer, people are getting frustrated with that lack of intimacy and that lack of relationship building that's happening because people want fast wins. So again, that might have worked 10, 20 years ago where you could pick up your phone, call somebody, do a three-way call, get them signed up for your network marketing company. They'd never heard of it before. 10 years later, that's not really working anymore. Now social media starts coming out, and it's just evolved so much, and it's only evolving faster. So we've got to continue to innovate, and I encourage all of you to not just stay in your box of, I'm a health and fitness coach, so I only listen to these podcasts and I only follow health and fitness coaches. No. Follow people across the board in all different niches and on different platforms, because likely you're going to see them growing their businesses in a completely different way, in a way that you were like, I never thought to do that. And I see this a lot with my network marketers. They're like, whoa, you can like run a webinar, or you can create automation and get leads on autopilot. I'm like, heck yeah. Now the people in the online marketing space are like, of course, we've been doing that for years. But that somehow never broke into the network marketing world. And so they're like, wait, I don't have to send direct messages every day. I don't have to live in my inbox and wait for people to write back. I could literally get leads all day long. I'm like, yep, I can teach you that. Totally, absolutely. So I think just being aware of, okay, I need to innovate and I need to pivot. That is absolutely everything. It is everything. It is the way that you're going to be able to stay alive as a business and stay profitable as a business in a changing economy, in a changing technological era. Like we don't even know what's coming. We think we do, but we don't know. And you think about it, like Ford, the company Ford, it's 115 years old versus Uber, which is 9 years old. You guys ready for this? Ford currently is valued at about $45 billion. And Uber is valued at about $62 billion. Ford did not innovate at the level that Uber was able to innovate. They were able to find a unique problem in the market and solve it in a way that no one had really thought of, right? Uber, $62 billion after 9 years. Ford, 115 years, $45 billion. Now, of course, billion-dollar company, nobody is crying about that. However, you see how quickly Uber just kind of took over. And I was just talking to my boyfriend last week, and he was like, yeah, did you hear in New York City, where we live, they actually put some kind of limit on how many people could be Ubering, or how many Uber drivers could be on at one time, because it was affecting the taxis at such a high level. And these taxi drivers, a lot of times they're coming over from different countries. They're investing all of their money in certifications and certificates that they need so that they can drive a taxi in New York City. They're investing in the actual cab itself. And then boom, all of a sudden Uber comes in and just absolutely takes over. And I've had conversations with taxi drivers in the city that are like, oh, Uber, it's ruining my business and I'm not making the same money. And they're like really scared. But again, it's like, what do you really do? It's like there's nothing you really can do. And obviously New York City is trying to put some things in place to help out the taxi drivers. But at the end of the day, people want Uber. People want to do Uber because it's more convenient, because it's easier, because it's cleaner, because there are higher standards for those people who are driving Uber. And it's more efficient. So I think sometimes people are like, oh, but I feel bad for Ford, or I feel bad for the taxi drivers. You can feel bad, but as Gary Vee says, the market is the market is the market. So if you're not keeping up with the innovation, that's just business. That's just change. That's just how it works. So we've got to start looking at those things. Another great example is Hilton Hotels. You guys know them, right? They've been around for 99 years, and they are valued at $23 billion. 99 years, valued at $23 billion. Again, billion-dollar company. Nobody is crying about that. Definitely a good thing. But what happened? Kind of like Uber, Airbnb. Airbnb came into play. And what happened? After 10 years of being around, they are worth $31 billion. $31 billion. Like, to me, that's insane. Like, that is just bananas. But really, at the end of the day, Airbnb and Uber found very unique needs in the market. They innovated, and they had no competition because they were innovative in the way that they were solving a problem for people in the market. So I wanted to share those with you guys because I think sometimes looking outside of the coaching bubble is really helpful to see the contrast, because those are brands and companies that you interact with. So you know, oh yeah, I love Uber too, they're great. Like, you're experiencing that. So I think we really need to start thinking about how you, think about how you can show up in a way that, one, takes better care of your clients than anybody else in the market. Like, show up for them and serve them better than anybody else. That's one way to win, right? That's one way to win. And innovating, solving their problems in a more unique way, or marketing to them in a way that nobody else is marketing to them, that's another way to win, right? You're showing up for them in a way that no one else is. A great example is like real estate agents. For the longest time, real estate agents were doing things the exact same way. They would, do some cold calling or call some people, ask for referrals, and that's how they get their clients, and a couple other strategies. But then some new real estate agents said, well, I'm going to use social media. I'm going to do house tours with my really nice camera on YouTube, and I'm going to find clients and customers that way. Well, if they're the only ones doing this totally different strategy, they literally have no competition. So you can either try to be the best at what everybody else is doing, or you can do something completely different and innovate, right? So there's so much here that we could kind of unpack even further and talk about, but hopefully you got some really good nuggets from this. And if this was powerful, hit the share button, pass this along to a friend of yours who is an entrepreneur, feel free to tag them, or share this with your network marketing team or your entrepreneur friends if you are in that space. And if you guys are looking for an awesome community to connect with, come and head over to the Facebook group, heyjencasey.com/group, to connect with some other amazing online coaches and entrepreneurs who are absolutely crushing it in the online space. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them below. I would love to chat and connect with you more about this topic. I think this is such a fascinating idea that we can really just innovate in such a unique way. So drop any questions below. I can't wait to hear from you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.